Welcome again to another All Gathered Up, your sewing and techniques skill show for the sewing bee with me, Stuart from the Woolpatch, and as always, over there in London, Carol ALAYNE, Master Tailor Couturier. Good to see you again, Carol.
Good to see you. Hello over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all good. And week 7, we are before. Well, it's now after next week. It will be quarterfinals, semi-finals, and finals. 3 weeks left. Where's it gone?
yeah, yeah. So we'll be down to five now, won't we?
We will after
Down to
this
five.
week. Yes, yeah. We see 6 contestants going for it now,
Okay.
and it's like wow. We started with
Yeah.
12, and think of
I,
all
I'm
the techniques
yeah,
that we've looked at so far.
so many. And it's the sewing room is looking a little thinner now, isn't it?
Isn't it? More space though. More space to
Yeah.
put all
And
your
more
stuff up.
time with what is going to become the quarterfinals. More time
Yes.
to learn more about them and watch them sew a bit in more close up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's have a look at the comments from last week because we had a lot of response about the fabric that came up, Ponte Roma,
Yeah.
which was new for both of us. But we'll start from the top and we'll work our way down. Shelley said, I learn so much every week. Thank you both so much for sharing your knowledge. And then she says, I'm glad to see you've made progress in your tank top. That was my Armani one that we were doing with the ribbing. The
With the
sample is now
ribbing.
done.
Yes.
I've now just got to start the black.
Very
So
good.
thank you for that. Shelley says, I finished a wearable toile of the tank top I was making. There's a fit issue,
Oh,
but I know where I went wrong, so the next version will be better. How good is that? And how perfect is that
that's
for
very good.
today's show, Carol?
Excellent. We're going to be talking about fit, and it's great if you can work that out on your own. Wonderful.
Brilliant.
It's all about just carving a little bit away or adding more, or just, you can work in small increments because you don't want to make a great correction, do you? A
No.
small is good. Mm.
And then so the next version will be better. Love that. Doesn't have to be perfect, does it?
No,
Because that might
no,
be a long way down the road, but by the time you've finished your fifth or sixth one, each little bit better gets better, better, better till you're perfect, don't you think?
that's right. You get a better view of it, like I said, if you don't make a big correction the first time. Just make these small corrections
Yeah.
little by little. Mm.
And she then
Good.
goes on to say, I haven't sewn with Ponte, but I have seen it in a fabric shop here. And I've had store bought pants for the office, from where we all used to go to the office. I know exactly what you mean, made from Ponte. So that was nice to talk about that. And then many people commented. So we have Practical Stitches. Shari says, I was rooting for Minnie, and then goes on, Ponte, sometimes called PDR, doesn't cling to the body, holds its shape and resists creasing. Perfect for dresses, skirts, trousers, and blazers. It's well behaved to sew with, but doesn't have a lot of stretch normally. Loving the show. Nice to see Carol get so many well deserved compliments. She is the
Oh.
best.
Oh, thank you, Sherry. She's such a good fan.
And then Anita says, I used Ponte Roma a lot. It is a great for slim fitting skirts, as it looks smart, does not bag, and has a bit of give. Washes well. I've made a couple
Mm,
of winter dresses. You can get slightly different weights so you can choose what you need for a particular item. Nice to know, isn't it?
that's good to know. And it sounds like it has good body. So it supports itself, but doesn't cling or bag.
Yeah.
So that's good. It sounds like a very reliable cloth. I'll have to try something
Yeah,
using
definitely.
that.
And Tom, who often comments as well, a big crafter, Ponte di Roma has the nice property that it doesn't curl up at the cut edges, unlike regular
Um,
single jersey knit. I mainly use it to make socks. Tasteful, two-tone, grey zebra printed rayon Ponte socks. Wow.
Socks.
You just got to love
Okay.
that, hey?
Yeah.
You going to make
That's a
some
new
socks anytime soon?
Yes, I can see how they're made. I mean, I used to watch, my aunties and my mom knit slippers and socks. So I can kind of see the shape in my head and think, yeah,
Yeah.
the toe piece and then that kind of that right angle on the heel. I can kind of see how that would work.
It's a big thing in my shop with all the knitters knitting their
Oh
own
yeah.
socks. Knitting socks or making socks is a huge thing. They often say once you've knit your own socks or you've made your own socks, you never go back to commercial.
I heard that the sock industry is putting a lot of synthetic fibers into socks, and that's why they wear out so fast.
Ah,
If you use good cotton
yeah.
yarns, then your socks will last a lot longer and they're better for your feet.
There we are.
I
Well,
was reading about
last week we started off a sort of double week idea of statement, making the statement piece. And those who joined us on Monday's masterclass got a taste of what it was all
Mm,
about. And we've got there some of the points that you were talking
yes.
to the viewers on Monday's masterclass is what is the statement piece? Can you just go over those sort of three for our viewers for this week on All Gathered Up, please,
Yeah.
Carol?
I suppose if we relate it, sure, if we relate it to the made to measure challenge, what they wanted was they wanted something that was instantly recognizable as a hero's costume, and that had a clear point of view, so that the superpower was obvious as well. And then it was something that was striking to look at. So those three things. Now, if you're making a statement piece without that brief, without those challenges, it's kind of the same thing. A clear point of view means this is what I want to say about this piece. This maybe fits into a genre of being a romantic piece or an avant-garde piece or a very structured piece. So it needs to be clear and uncluttered. And then the last one again, it needs to be valuable. It needs to be something of value to look at as well. So it has to have that interest. The old-fashioned phrase used to be a wow factor. I think I like styling presence and power. I like that better.
Absolutely. And we had great fun on Monday having this conversation about this idea of concept to creation. And you were covering those points about what you go through on that process. And
Yes.
I found
Yeah.
that really satisfying because I like that idea of planning, you know, perhaps having a notebook where you've perhaps started that sketch of what you want, what you can visualize, and then you
Mm.
covered many points across through to the final stage.
Yes. I mean, sometimes you have your favorite pattern. You love to make it. So you already know what the pattern, how it goes together and how it fits you and how it suits your silhouette. So you can go from just the concept phase right to the fabric phase, can't you? Because you think, this is a reliable pattern.
Yeah.
I know how it goes together. But sometimes it does, you need to think of something in your head, get it on paper, and then think, okay, what fabric is going to support this anti-gravity drawing that I've just put together on paper, right? No force is acting out. Okay,
Yeah.
so what fabric do I need? And then from then you can go to the pattern. So sometimes those stages can flip-flop a little bit. But there's a lot of phases to go through. And I'm like you, I like planning. And I don't like making errors. I don't like wasting time or fabric. So I like spending just that little extra time to think it through, try a few samples maybe, refine the sketch.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
If that sounds something that you're interested in, you can still sign up and get access to that class, which we've just had. And that's going to continue for a two-parter for week 8 as well, as we develop the idea of making the statement piece. So you can sign up, or you could just sign up for the one class. You can still sign up the bundle, but would it? Well, if you sign up to the bundle, you get access to past weeks for much longer. So I still think it's worth it because there are 7 sessions on there and access to the whole portal for about a month or
That's
so, haven't
right.
they, Carol? Is that
Yeah,
right?
that's right. The whole of the members area. So you see all the past master
Yeah.
classes. We do some fit to finish. We do some brilliant basics classes, and then we have a whole archive of couture insights, which are small films about different stitches and different seams. So there's a lot of material as we grow the site. There's a lot of material on there. So it's a very good deal to sign
Oh,
up the bundle because you get the whole of the website and what we're doing.
And for all gathered up fans, because you keep coming back to watch, then if you put that coupon code in there, gathered 26, then you make even more of a saving. So yeah, good old deal. Well, let's
Good old deal.
continue on this idea of the statement piece before we get to talk about this statement piece that I'm wearing. I've got some pictures to show that you've given me about this idea of the statement piece. Let's have a look at some of these pictures here that you can talk us
Okay.
through.
I can indeed. Well, I sew for a lot of performers, male and female. And so if we start with the one kind of in the middle, it's got a white background, and that is Alistair Malloy in a Royal Stuart tartan suit. So he's Scottish and he's head to toe in a large scale Royal Stuart tartan. So he's a percussionist. So he's flying around the stage, playing everything from a xylophone to a bass drum to kettle drums to bells. And there's a lot of fabric there, and it's wool. But he was really comfortable playing in that. But it's striking, and there's a clear point of view to that, right? It's tartan. He's Scottish. It works. To the right of Alistair Malloy, we have Sir Jeremy Irons, and he was chosen as the first chancellor of Bath Spa University. And they had a competition on making a design for this garment. And the winning designer took this kind of harlequin and woad idea. So I thought this would interest you, Stuart, because this was silk that was then dyed
Beautiful.
color that you are featuring,
Yeah.
your lavender blue. And this came out, it looks bright in the picture, but it was quite a grayy
Yeah.
blue, very
That's
gray.
woad.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and this actor he wanted to look like a troubadour in a way, and a kind of a mythological character. So you see them teaming this with, a plaid shirt and dungarees and boots. So that again, that really worked well, but it looks completely different to that polished suit that you see next to it. On the bottom, we have the King's Singers, this lovely a cappella group that's very famous in Britain. They've been performing and changing their cast of singers over decades. And so I made them all a grey suit, but a slightly different cut of suits. So some of them are button ones, some are button twos. We've got a button three. We've got some with waistcoats. We've got some with a peaked lapel and some with a normal lapel. And then I put them all in a variation of gold silk ties. And this was very successful because, again, it makes a clear statement. We're going to wear gray suits with gold ties, but look at the variation.
Yeah.
And then
But
right
still
up at the
links them
top,
in,
oh, sorry.
which is actually what we had with the transformation challenge this week. You want them to be individual, but you also want them to look a group. How do you marry that symbiosis, as it were? Yeah.
Absolutely. We want kind of a uniform that unites
Yeah.
the group. And then we have this lovely picture of Stephen and Gabriel Isolus. And I made them both tails. So little Gabriel has a romper suit on.
Oh,
This is a very classic. And this is something that now you don't see that often. You don't see a performer on a classical stage in white tie and tails. The uniform has become more casual, and we don't have the tie anymore. We have there, so there we are.
yeah.
And also the tails are getting a bit shorter. So this set of tails really they hit 4 inches below the knee is the correct the correct length for the tails. But that's one of my favorite portraits. I love the whole mood of that. So that's got a very it's on that plinth, and it has a certain sense about it of a place in time, you know. So that there's the chaps, and then I sent you a few more, did
Yeah,
I?
let's just have a look at my. I think I've just. Where have I put them? Have I just hidden them? Let's have
Oh,
a look.
well, they'll be
There'll
somewhere.
be
But
somewhere.
this is
Yes, I was moving them
yeah, yeah.
all. I was moving them all around, and I think I moved them to. Let's drag and drop them in. Oh, there they are.
That's
There's
okay.
one. There's
Okay, so
Jeremy's.
here's
Jeremy's appeared
now.
again.
Yes, we got a duel. So we're looking now in the center. We're looking at Lou Reed and Laurie Anderson, who
Yes.
fronted one of the Meltdown festivals at the South Bank, and very black and white, very minimalist rock and roll dressing. And the brief for Lou Reed's jacket was, "I love leather, but I want my sleeves when I push them up, I want them to stay there." So that was, musicians, the garment sometimes has a job to do as well. And then this gold lame piece here, I made this for Chanel for one of
Did
their
you?
catwalk shows. Yes, and that has a hint of safari with the hat, but it is a very alluring, very bold piece, a very sexy piece.
I
And then
love it.
again, just talking about fabric, this is our Britain's, well, she's Welsh, Hilary Summers, the mezzo soprano. So this was just one piece of brocade fabric, and then over it, just a piece of organza, which just went around the neck and fell to the ground. So, and the whole thing is just two very, basic pieces of fabric, not a lot of style detail, just a notch in the stand collar, and that's it. So all these statement pieces having something to say and say about the performer. There's either a seriousness about it or a boldness or a kind of a playful rock and roll
Yeah.
about it. So all those elements of a statement piece.
And it kind of works well when we talk about the made to measure later for this week. For because it was it was Music Week, and they had to make a piece for disco, didn't they? And
Yeah.
Rebecca's was almost similar to what you were just talking about there. Just let the fabric do the talking. Just one piece through, and just
Yes.
let it work like that. Let the
And
fabric do the
let it work.
talking,
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite right.
which we'll talk about shortly. But this week, let's develop it a bit more then. This idea
Let's
of the
do.
statement piece, not wanting to bring it back to me, but we clearly are,
We have
because
to. We
that's
have to. We're midstream with something really special.
we've taken the idea of concept to creation, making the statement piece, and we're doing it over 2 weeks because we're going to finally be making it. And we said right at the beginning, when I came across this fabulous piece of silk lace, let's hold it up, and it's just this tiny bit of fabric that is about a metre and a bit long by just over half a metre wide. Oh, if I could hold it up. And I said, well, let's transform it into something. And we started chatting, and before you know it, we've gone from just having fun with transforming it into something to turning it into a statement piece from this idea of concept to creation. So I thought I would just tell the viewers quickly what we were doing on the masterclass, because you might want
Please.
to join up for part two, because hopefully you're going to see the concept which you see on the screen there, which is what I wanted in my head to turn this fabric into, which was inspired by work from the Dolce & Gabbana catwalk for men's spring summer 2027. So in theory,
Very
this is,
open weave,
I
isn't it? Very,
know, isn't it
very
fab?
lacy. Mm.
Which one of those do you like the most?
Well, I like the broderie anglaise. I like the one on the third one.
Yeah.
It looks more like the classic shirt style. And I really love that panel, that inset panel, which
Yeah.
looks like when it's closed, you've got a pattern match with
Yeah.
that circular motive. I think that's really clever.
Isn't it?
Mm.
And I thought, oh, I could find a tablecloth or two and do something like that. But that's when I thought I want something in that shape. That, because we've got this kind of sheer, so that is the fabric that's going to talk like the broderie there, or the middle one, that
Yes.
see-through nature, but also the V, the collar and the V. So the first one, the middle one has got buttons. The first one on the left there is just a nice V. So
Yes.
that's what we had on our sketch too. And we've worked together. Carol has come up with a toile idea, sent me the
Mhm.
pattern, got it today, and boom, I
Well
knocked
done.
up the toile of it. So we
Look
are
at that.
halfway through, or stage two, stage three of our concept
Yes. Well,
creation.
the next thing is to carefully cut it out and then baste it together and see how you like what's happening. Because the border lace on your linen
Yeah,
piece of fabric, that square tablecloth that you've got, that is going to effect become the sleeve, isn't it?
it is.
So those
Yeah,
those little motif, those flowers with the edge, just like that, that's going to go around the sleeve line. And so we're going to cut, I think we're going to cut just beyond where that, yes, that stripe is, where you've got that, it's a kind of a thread, a working of a thread ladder.
yeah.
So we're going to cut beyond that because we don't want to cut into your lace because
No,
we don't know what's going to happen to it. So we're going to cut just beyond that, maybe half an inch. Then we'll be basting this whole thing together. And then we're going to be inserting some of that lace
yeah,
into your yoke panels,
yeah.
which are, yeah. And so you've, now on your pattern, it said cut right side up. We've got two front
I
yokes.
have.
You've got to
Yeah.
make sure
Where is it?
that you're cutting them both so that you don't end up with two of the same. Yes. Okay, great. I did label that.
You
That's
did.
good. Okay, super.
Yeah, we don't want
Okay,
two like that, do we? Yeah.
exactly. Right. So it's kind of like when you're cutting with nap or you've got a one-way design
Yeah.
or you've got a clear white right and left. There's only one right side of the fabric. You've got to make sure
Yeah.
when you're cutting. Okay, so that would be the next step. Now, if I'm looking at the toile and I'm just noticing two things. Now, one of them you told me about.
Oh,
You
yes.
said that the depth of sigh was a little high. So, in other
Yes.
words, the underarm is going to be a little high. So, we're going to lower the sigh. Okay, we're going to carve that down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, we'll amend your pattern before you cut. Okay? We'll go back to the paper pattern. We'll amend it before you cut it so that we're sure that we're starting from the right place. Now that's a big pattern. Yes, there we are. Yeah. So we will drop down probably a good half an inch. See there? That's how it looks because we only want one seam in this
Yeah.
garment, just
Yeah.
a
And
center
that's the
back seam.
back.
That's it.
Yeah.
We don't want to destroy so we don't want to waste any of the
No.
fabric because it is just long enough to go around Stuart. Just long enough. Okay. And then I noticed that at the top of the back, the nape of the neck
Oh,
is
yeah.
just coming away a little bit on you. So we might just curve the center back seam in just a little bit.
Okay.
Okay? We'll just give it a little bit of an arc. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
I
it.
see.
Because
Yes.
there's quite a bit there. So yeah, because you're working out, you've got some back muscles and
Yeah.
things. So maybe it's your head is forward to the musculature in the back, but it's looking
The
good,
V is
and the
great.
shoulder slope looks very
It does
good.
look brilliant, doesn't it? And
Yeah,
the fit is just great, as I say. But as yes, it's just that
yeah,
coming round there that
right.
will cut. So
Yeah, we'll clear the cross chest, we'll lower the sigh, and then it will be fitting you much better.
and then make
Yeah.
another toile, and then
You
try it on
can, or
again.
you can just, because let's see, we can use the same toile, Stuart, because we can just carve
Oh,
away
yes.
and then we can seam it on a curve. So we'll be amending the toile,
See, I'm
okay?
glad we've talked about this because hopefully there are viewers watching in similar positions, or oh, I've always wanted to sort out how I can make my armhole a bit, a bit more roomy. Well, this will help them, and then the masterclass on Monday will be able to help them with that, can't we?
Yes. Yes. And I've got a copy of your pattern, so I'll amend the pattern. I'll
Yeah,
show you what the new curve is going to look like,
and then I
and
can
then you can
copy it
apply
on.
it to your pattern. Yeah. We'll
See,
get that
that's
sorted.
great. And then after next week, or we will then have this whole idea of this beautiful wherever it came from. I mean, look at that,
Yes.
how that sings, that silk, how it shimmers, how it moves, and then go back to the idea of the concept of
Yes.
Mr. Broderie Man there in me in my
Hmm.
statement
And then
piece.
you'll have your statement piece, and we'll talk about, now you look at the depth of the necklines of your
Yeah,
inspiration
yeah.
pictures, and then you'll decide, well, do I want to drop the V, or do I want to keep the V as
Oh,
at the height that we've got it there? And your lace then, which is 3.5 inches wide,
yeah,
we're going to then try to miter the front band, aren't we?
yeah. Down here.
So, yes,
My,
that's right.
I, I do like a plunging V, but I thought the deeper it is, we're losing more of that beautiful lace fabric, aren't we? This becomes then
Absolutely.
thinner and then it becomes lower. So I wanted as much, for
Yes.
once, body coverage as possible.
Well, because we're going to see right through this,
Yeah,
We're going to
yeah,
see your body
yeah.
anyway. And there's something about leaving something to the imagination. That's quite alluring as well.
Oh, oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
If not more, isn't it? Where you could just
It
see
is. Yeah.
glimmers of it, and you're like,
Yeah. And we talked about that with the Rita
we
Hayworth
did.
piece.
Yes, just the idea of just seeing those lovely shoulders and that bit of flesh
It-
of the neck and the top part.
And that in contrast to the jungle dress, it was just all out there. Nothing left to the imagination.
Oh, that was J Lo, wasn't it? Was it J Lo?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The picture that developed Google Images, wasn't it?
Right, absolutely. They caught on to that so quick.
Yeah,
They wanted an image more than they wanted text.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, viewers, if you have some fabric at home that you've always been wanting to do something with, but it's just been sat there folded up, come on,
Mhm.
get in there, get it out, and be brave and use it, because we do buy fabric, and I know in the wool world too, we buy wool and it's like, oh, you're forever going, that's not the right project, or that's not the right project. But what then happens is you never find the right project, and it then never gets used when ultimately you fell in love with that fabric. So
Mm.
let's just do it. So I'm going to be absolutely panicking when I cut into this. But do you know what? At
Yeah.
least we're doing it and using it, and hopefully getting a step further, a step closer to showing off the fabric. So viewers, come on, if you've got some fabric that just sat there for a long while that you've always wanted to do, why not use this time now to let's make a statement piece. So for the next
Yeah.
3 weeks, and then for the finale of the sewing bee, we can perhaps be in our statement pieces. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
That would be great. And we'll put them in our gallery.
Oh, that
So
would be
you
wonderful.
send us a picture. And
Yeah,
can I just ask you one more question
of
before we move
course.
on? How much more confident do you feel wearing your toile now about continuing on with your statement
Oh,
piece?
absolutely. Really. I'm like, it enthused me even more to get and do it, because it didn't actually take long to make this toile, did it? Because of the way you've designed the concept of it,
Yeah,
and because we were forced into that concept by not having much fabric, that basically is my pattern piece, isn't it,
there it
viewers?
is. Yeah.
With
And
the
that's a one piece. I
yeah.
mean, if the fabric were taller, we would have that yoke grown on. So that would be a one piece pattern. So you can use that again. You can just, if you have, a taller piece of
Yeah.
lace, you can make another one and just pin the yoke on to the pattern so that you've got the complete pattern in one piece. And then you can make another one piece top.
Well, I've just found loads of old tablecloths, so this might become definitely that.
Yes. And that could be your uniform. And you've got so many variations of the lavender blue
Yeah,
dye.
yeah.
You can have a field day with this.
Oh,
You can make a whole wardrobe.
I can't wait. And then, viewers, on the Monday, Carol came up with some different ideas on what to do with this yoke, and put piping in.
Yes. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to have those two lines of piping in there too?
Yes. Yeah. Or if you have a denser lace, you
Yeah.
can just dye that darker and then you can layer that. There you
Oh.
go. There's no stopping him now, viewers.
Let's move on to a quick chat then about the made to measure, and I'll get my notes out so I say it right. It was actually a very simple brief. All they had, I say all, they just had to be inspired by the outrageous fashion of disco. Where do you
Mhm.
start with a huge brief like that?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind was Saturday Night Fever and the circular skirts that when these dancers twirled around, they just took flight and they were parallel to the floor. And I thought, oh, we'll see some circular skirts. We didn't.
No,
We didn't.
no.
Everything was kind of close to the figure.
Let's have a
But
look. We'll go through
yeah.
alphabetical order to keep it
Okay.
fair. Let's
Yeah.
look through all six of them and just enjoy the disco. But let's keep that idea of statement in mind as well, because when you're creating an outrageous fashion number of disco, well, let's think instantly recognizable as disco, clear
Yes.
point of view, and this idea that you said, styling presence or
Yes.
styling power.
Yes. It looks
Originality
so
for Anna, hey?
unified, doesn't it? Yeah, it's very unified. It is a lot of silver to take in. It's a lot of that, but because you've got a midriff showing, then that kind of smooths it out a little bit. It gives it some contrast. But terrific, terrific trews, and a tiny, tiny little top, and then the gloves to kind of complete it all with the fringe on it. So there's a lot to look at. There's different textures. There's some bias work, straight work. Now I thought this was sensational.
What?
Yeah.
Because I've had time to think about it today. Because at first this one garment of the week, and I was like, oh, I wanted Emma to get garment of the week. But then I've been thinking, and as you do, you look back and then you analyze a bit more. And I now can fully appreciate the originality of this, the concept alone. It's not what we perhaps associate stereotypically with disco. There is so many other different ideas going on. So I can understand that and how that
Mhm.
elevates this end garment, wouldn't you say? That originality of
Yeah.
especially of the trousers.
Yes, and when I thought about it, as I said, I pictured a dancing dress, a disco dancing dress. For me, this is more of as exquisite as it is, it's more of a performer's outfit. I would put this on a singer
Yeah.
singing something that was in that era, but I wouldn't I wouldn't call this a dancing outfit. But that was that's where I led myself to
That's it.
think
Yes.
about
Yeah.
make a disco outfit. I thought, well, you got to dance in it,
And
and this was more of a something that a singer would wear.
and this is where judging must be very hard, because when you have such an
Mm.
open brief where they can be inspired by the fashion of disco, you could be inspired by the disco ball of disco,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your
yeah,
garment therefore has nothing to do with disco. I
absolutely.
know sometimes you can be very inspired by, or the link could be incredibly tenuous, but you can't mark someone down just because a link is tenuous, can you, with these inspired by briefs?
I don't think so. But we all have a bias. We all have a place we go to
Absolutely.
in our mind. And for me, it was in the late 70s. That's what we did every Friday and every Saturday night. We just danced our heads off.
Come on, tell me what you
Um,
wore. What did you
and
wear?
well, I made loads of a fabric called Kiana. It was a polyester fabric or rayon, and I just made loads of these knee-length skirts
Did
that
you?
were a complete circle. Yeah, and they were great fun because
Oh,
they were so fun to watch. You had to. It's like almost doing a waltz in a ball gown because you have to leave room for your dress to spin.
have we got any pictorial evidence of these skirts?
Not a chance. It seems an age ago. I mean,
Oh,
I'm probably no, but I do have a video of I made of a ballerina's circular dress, and then I put tied something around it and then pulled this string, and then the mannequin spun. So I've got that. I'll see if I can dig that out because it really shows what
oh.
happens. Anyway, I digress.
Well,
Sorry.
let's go back. Let's look at Adele next, which, yes, people would instantly recognize it as an
Yes.
ABBA piece, wouldn't they?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I know that she put a lot of effort
She
into the
did.
trouser that maybe wasn't necessary because the idea is it's not a day garment, is it? It's not
No.
it's not kind of a staple pair of trousers we're looking for. We're looking for something stretchy that you can move around in. And so,
So you kind of
yes,
agree
a
with
lot of
Patrick and
times,
Esme about you didn't really need the pockets.
no, because they didn't lay flat and then the closure wasn't clean and it wasn't even vertically and horizontally. So that was not a success, that part of
Yes.
this make.
And it was a
Mm,
hard watch, I think, for Adele fans because she was
yes.
kind of struggling. Well, it certainly came across in the edit on the first
Mhm.
round, coming last, and then again for the transformation challenge. So it was hard to see this happen because we just felt for her, didn't we? It was like,
We did.
things
We
just
did.
aren't
Yeah.
going right, are they?
But she had such a great outlook. She said, "Oh, never mind, chin up,
Yeah,
keep going." She
yeah.
was, and she's a teacher, is she?
Yes,
Is she?
I think there was
Yeah.
primary school, wasn't it? Yeah, because she was saying
I
about
bet she's,
yeah,
I bet she's a terrific
yeah.
and an inspiring teacher.
Beth. Now this goes to what we were saying about disco inspired. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how she got there. The brief was to be inspired by the fashion of disco.
Yeah.
Beth, as long as she could say where she was inspired from, she made the garment. There was some question about how disco it was, but well, hey, give them a more detailed brief. Then don't let them just go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. This to me just looked holiday, but really tasteful, sophisticated holiday. I could see this down in
Yes,
Saint Tropez or somewhere like that. But it's got a really earthy set of tones to it, almost autumnal. And it's it's skimming, but not revealing. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
It's
Yeah,
tasteful.
yeah.
Yeah, tasteful.
That
Is it disco?
well.
Mm. Well, it's Beth's choice.
Absolutely,
It's what
that's
she,
it. It's because the brief is inspired by fashion of disco. It
yeah,
doesn't say you have to have made a disco a stereotypical disco piece. Then
yeah,
in that case, this isn't stereotypically disco, but it just says inspired by. So Beth might have been inspired by the skimpy
yeah.
nature of some of the
Mhm.
tops, mightn't she?
And it is just on this side of, fitting. It's fitting very well.
Yeah,
If you look under the arms and how taut it
yeah.
is around the neck, it's almost painted on.
And this is the
It's a
engineer of
great
Beth.
fit.
She
Yeah.
is precision, isn't she?
Hmm.
She's
We've come to learn that about her work.
she's been a joy to watch for sure. Emma, which was my favourite, just because I
Oh, yes.
thought it was so disco-y.
Well, it's totally disco.
What a clever
And the
piece.
fabric is wonderful. And I love how with her outstretched arms that the motif then just gets more concentrated under the bust. That purple line, it starts to concertina
Yeah,
underneath that band.
yeah.
It's a riot.
It's and
You see
seeing
that?
that silhouette
Yeah,
there
that
only
silhouette.
works
Yeah,
when she has her hands up. That's why I took this picture because I just
yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
it's so clever.
And I don't mind how short it is for disco.
No.
That there's no
This-
hemline regulation there at all. You wear as little as you want, right?
I know they pulled her up, I think, on the back side because I think was the back bit supposed to be longer. I'm not sure, so that might have been an issue. But everything
Yes.
about it sings disco. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
in
And
style,
I
in
love the
color.
hat. Yeah, I love the hat. I think she had an error in her hem, so she had to cut
Oh, that's
some of the
it.
hem off, which then made it
Yeah,
shorter.
yeah.
So that was not, yeah, that wasn't intentional. But I just think that worked really beautifully.
And then there's Heather in the most glorious. Oh, look at that coat that you can drag down as you enter the disco dance floor, hey, and then
Yes.
fling it
Yeah.
off.
Pulling it off. Yeah. Yeah. This is superb. I really like this one. I think I like this one the best of all because of the layering and the textures and the color difference and incorporating three different fabrics and it's worn brilliantly.
Yeah.
And I suppose they could have, yeah, there's a bit of a problem in the rise, but not much. Not
Yes.
much. And it's not going to matter, is it?
I. It looked
But
like when she was trying to pull them up originally, in the first fittings, like, oh my God, they've edited it like there was going to be an issue there and they're not going to go any higher. But she did well to adjust or whatever she did to
she
it to,
did.
to get
Yes.
fully into it.
Yeah, she let those seams out really effectively. Yeah. I think this was my favorite because of the
Yeah.
combining these different textures and fabrics. And I'm trying to work out the pattern in my head as I look at it, the pattern for that
I
coat.
know. I
Um,
think many people want that pattern.
I think
How
so.
clever it was. I
Mm.
think it's brilliant. Maybe that's something that we don't do enough, Carol, is this idea of
Mm.
being brave with textures and maybe putting completely opposites together like that is. You've got the fluff against the shimmer.
Yes.
Is
Yeah.
that a good thing that Heather did? She was like, yeah, I'm maybe taking two different inspirations and marrying them together, or whether that was whether she's seen a photo of that style before. It just seems something different, something nice.
Well, yes, I think maybe she's seen the great, the fur coat. Who used to do that? I can't think of her name now, but she used to waltz on with this great fur piece and then just lay it on the floor, just let it slip off her. But I think this was really over and above what other people did. And I think it's right that we should talk about it.
Yes.
Right that we should not, she not only chose a great cloth, but then she put it into superb
Yeah.
design, which is going to make a grand entrance. If you're going to walk into a club or something, you're going to be wanting to walk in wearing something like that.
I
It's so striking.
I have to say, over the last 2 weeks, maybe three, I have really enjoyed seeing Heather develop. She's just come out more, as partly because there's fewer sewers I know, but maybe in the edit. But to me, her personality and confidence just oozes out now in front of the camera.
Yes.
She's like, right, I'm going to be
Yeah.
doing this more. I think she said to Patrick, oh, I'm going to make that for my boyfriend more. And she's
Yeah.
just suddenly now it's like, yeah, I can bloody well sew, and can't she just?
Yeah.
And I just think she's great watching her. That journey, which I know we often talk about, and in other shows too. Anna and Rebecca have been great from the beginning, and they've stood out. But seeing Heather
Yeah.
just bloom and blossom, it's been a joy.
Yes. And I think Heather's got great poise in front of the camera
Yeah,
uh, and when she's speaking, and she's not flustered when they come round and ask her, what her plan is, what she's doing. But she's also very clever. She's
Yeah.
smart. She made her corset, this conical corset. She's the one that had the leopard print and the
Yes.
red.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very
Yeah.
clever to choose. When you've got those, you have to sew concentric circles.
Let me quickly find
She
that while you
chose a
talk.
print, and because she chose that print, it helped to disguise. Now, I'm sure her sewing was perfect, but that was such a clever move to choose a print that she could, and if things were slightly off, it would disguise it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that it was just a really
There it is.
interesting, you see there. So, a great contrast there, really effective. But you know what I mean about choosing a print,
Yeah.
which would throw off um, those
Yes.
difficult
It's
stitches that
clever.
she had to
Disguise
stitch.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. That's the first thing I thought of was, what a good move.
Yeah. And coming top with that as well. It's just, yes, it's just
Yeah.
brilliant. It's great. Been great to watch you, Heather. Well done.
So you see what she's doing. She's got great
Yeah.
bold confidence with color and texture, and so yeah, I'm really excited about the next few weeks, Stuart,
Absolutely.
watching her.
And let's finish with Rebecca, who I know we've talked about many a times. I just love this for its, well, it's not a simple make, but the simplicity of letting the fabric sing. And I know some people might go, ooh, it's inspired by fashion of disco. Well, it was. It was specific. She pinpointed it. It was a
Yes,
fashion designer
yes,
of
absolutely.
disco.
Yes, yeah,
And so you can't mark her down for that just because it's not what we think of disco, but it was of that
absolutely.
time. It's beautiful, isn't it?
I love this piece, and I love Halston's work. Rebecca thinks deeply about things, and this comes across in her work. And this one, I thought, was so beautifully done, but also it was, in a way, it was sympathetic to how Rebecca wants to dress and wants to feel comfortable herself. She shared some things about her health, and I thought, this is something she's designing because it's practical for her, but also she's thought deeply about boiling down the whole disco thing, just bringing it down to its basic elements the way Halston did. And she's thought that through. And I admire that. And I really love this. And of course, it's bright, screaming red, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it needed trousers because, and we didn't get to see her model walking, but can you imagine
Oh,
that shifting idea of this very long top, tunic top, asymmetrical with a slanted hemline, and then the trousers looking like in a completely different
yeah.
garment?
See, this is what kind of annoyed me about the judges to a certain extent because it felt like they kept coming back to their bias of what they see disco
Yes.
was, and it's like, no, 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 just you can't do that. Just move beyond that. It was about being
Yeah.
inspired by disco. This is what she is made from being inspired by disco. You don't even need to go into the disco anymore. You just need to evaluate the made to measure that is in front of you. The
Yes.
brief is just so they can make something. There's the garment made, but I think they was like, the idea was you don't need the trousers because you want to dance in it or you want to be more free. And it's like, but
Yeah,
that's not the
and
point, is it?
I completely agree, and it's almost like they didn't want to think about anything. They just wanted bright, spangly,
Yes.
sparkly
Yeah.
things flashing in their eyes, and they didn't want to take the time to think about it. But this is so sophisticated
Yeah.
with the gold jewelry and the open-toed simple sandal. No, well, I very much lean to the classics designs anyway, so this for me, this bowled me over actually. Really loved
Well,
it.
it's a statement piece and a half as well, isn't it? Which is what we've been
Mm,
talking about from last week into this week, and then we're left with five amazing sewers now, aren't we?
yes.
Really,
Yeah.
what between them all, you've got Rebecca, you've got Anna, you've got Heather, you've got Beth, and you've got, oh, who's our other one? just
Um,
I was just looking at them all.
uh-oh, five. Rebecca, Anna, Emma,
Oh, Emma and
Heather,
Emma. Yes,
Emma.
Emma.
Yeah, Emma.
Uh,
And you know what? I was just going to say one more thing because I just thought we can't have teams anymore because we're down
yeah,
to five. What did you feel about the fact that we had two teams? So we had a winning team and a team that did not win. And then they judged them individually,
yeah.
six. And what did you think about the bottom three came from the team that did not win, and the top three came from the team that did? I want to put that out there because I don't think the judging was fair.
Yeah.
I didn't think it had to be separated like that. And I'll just put it out there, see what people think, and then maybe that'll come
Yes,
up
we could.
in
I
unpicked.
think it will,
Okay?
because we wasn't
Yes.
expecting another challenge. I've got it on my list to talk to Ting tomorrow about, are the producers possibly playing around with the idea of the end of the transformation round? Is it the end of it? Are they trialing out these team challenges to push the transformation round into a different? So
Yes.
rather than transforming this into this, it's now a team challenge where you make something and get judged. That's. It seems to me they're using this as an opportunity to try out different
I
things.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And they can do this maybe every other week when you
Yes.
have an even
Yeah.
number. Okay.
But it
Well,
will be
that'll be interesting
interesting
to hear your
to see what he thinks. I can understand the concept. As a teacher in me, it's kind of an exciting project to work with three people to come up with this group. And you need this pop group of three, but I'm responsible for my part. I felt that at least I knew I was getting assessed on what I make, even if perhaps
yes.
holistically we didn't get it right. But I don't know whether that's where my problem is, that that's not really a transformation round. That is a
No.
completely different project or challenge round in itself.
Yes.
So
And the judging will be interesting because if you win, if your team wins,
yeah,
the worst you can do is third.
yes, indeed,
If your team loses, the best you can do is
yeah.
fourth.
That's
Is did that was it fairly judged? I want to know what people
And
think.
that's exactly
What
what
I
Ting
think.
messaged me when we were talking about it. Exactly what you
Ah,
said. Yeah, is that
right.
fair? So it's
Okay.
going to be
All
it's going to
right.
be interesting on Unpicked tomorrow.
It's going to be
That's for
interesting.
sure.
Okay.
Oh, it's been
Well,
wonderful, absolutely
it
wonderful.
certainly has.
Um, Viewers, if you want more, then you can sign up for the masterclass. You'll be well. Am I sewing this for next Monday? Maybe. Are we seeing the
We
finished?
might We'll see. We might look at your perfected toile.
Oh,
We
that.
might look at that, and then
Yeah.
you can cut it, and then you'll have, a couple of days. You could then on Wednesday, well, we'll see how you go. But
Yes.
I think the next step is to perfect that toile
Yeah.
so that you can amend your pattern, and then you know that you can use that as a block for many other things.
And viewers, if you're watching and you're like, oh, I've always wanted to sort of do a toile and then try and adapt it if the toile doesn't fit properly. Well, then maybe sign up. Maybe this masterclass on Monday is perfect opportunity for you to ask those questions about toiles, how to adapt them, and get your fit better. Maybe you've got something on your
Yes.
mannequin where you think, I need to change this fit. Well, come on
Yes.
Monday into a
Yeah.
protected environment on Zoom. You don't have to have your camera, but you can just pop questions in the chat and we can answer them and you can get advice from Carol. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
I think that's important what you just said. There's a lot to learn in this the prototyping process of it. There's a lot to learn, and you can ask questions along the way. You can join in the discussion. We'll answer all your questions. And as Stuart said, you don't have to have your camera on, and
Yeah,
there's just so many tips you can pick up.
there we go. So there you are. Join us next week that's Monday for the masterclass, but we'll be back for week 8, the quarter final. Oh, my word.
Absolutely.
Week
We
8,
will.
where's it gone? It's just zipped by. And I need to get on the sewing machine as well to make my rib top. So lots to be making.
Do that.
What's on your sewing machine before we finish? What's in
Oh,
your making your couturier
I'm
closet?
I'm delivering a white jacket tomorrow that I've just finished, and it's a lovely cotton double-breasted gents jacket. I'll photograph it, and he's collecting it tomorrow. I'm not putting the buttons on because it's double-breasted, so I'm going to fit the jacket on him and then put the buttons on while he waits. So just in case they're not in the perfect position, I'll get it right the first time. I don't have to take them off
Yeah.
and amend them.
Look
Yeah.
at that. Brilliant.
Right.
Well,
So it's going to be a nice day tomorrow because 3 people are collecting.
oh,
So that's going to be nice. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, Stuart.
brilliant.
Be quiet.
Thanks, as always, Carol. Thanks for watching,
Okay.
everyone. I'll see you next week then. Cheers, all. Cheery,
See you
bye.
next week,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye.